Your life is being stolen, not by someone, but by the invisible. On this path of spiritual awakening and self-knowledge, with every choice, every yes or no, we give something of ourselves. Precious minutes, undivided attention, vital energy. But what about when this giving becomes a silent theft? A life that, little by little, slips through our fingers, without us even realizing the incalculable price we are paying? The soul, our purest essence, knows the cost of every omission, of every piece of us that we cease to be. The journey of life is, at times, an intricate ballet between what we give and what we receive. But there's an invisible receipt for every passing moment, for every decision we make. The real cost in time, attention, and energy. We live in an age of constant distraction, where time dissolves into 1,000 tasks and the mind gets lost in an ocean of noise. And so, without realizing it, we allow pieces of our essence to be pilfered by what doesn't serve us, by what doesn't nourish us. The true reconnection with the self, the genuine awakening of consciousness, begins with a pause, an invitation to listen to the soul. Because the greatest loss is not what is taken from us, but what we fail to be, the life we allow to be stolen in small doses of inattention and omission. Today, I invite you to look at this internal balance, to feel the pulse of your own fertile void, and to ask, what is the price of the life you are living? And what if the pain that confuses you today is, in fact, a language of your soul trying to guide you to inner transformation? Imagine that, upon being born, you received a bank account with an unlimited balance of time, attention, and energy. And with every choice, every yes or no, a debit was invisibly recorded. We live as if this account will never run out, but the truth is that every moment spent in digital distraction, in sterile worries, or in commitments that drain your vitality, is a withdrawal that will never be replenished. Eckhart Tolle, a master in the art of presence, warns us about the tyranny of the mental clock. When our mind wanders between what has been and what is not yet, we lose the only real currency, the now. It's not just a matter of hours past, but of the quality of your presence. How many times have you found yourself in one body, but your mind was somewhere else, subtly eroding your vital energy? The cost of this inattention doesn't appear on bank statements, but it manifests in the subtle erosion of inner peace, spiritual clarity, and authentic joy. Every minute given to the superficial, every ounce of energy dissipated in conflicts that don't belong to you, is a fragment of your life that slips away. Your body is the faithful translator of your soul's whispers, and it longs for an honest accounting. What is truly worth your time, your energy, your attention? This is a radical invitation to self-kindness, to recognize that every choice is a donation of yourself, and that true wealth is not in what you accumulate, but in what you live with totality. But the invisible theft of our life goes beyond what we give. It deepens into what we fail to be. And this is where one of the greatest losses resides. There are crimes that leave no traces at the scene, but whose consequences haunt the soul for a lifetime. Omission is the most insidious of them. It's not about what was forcibly taken from us, but what, by choice or inaction, we fail to live, to express, to manifest in our being. Carl Jung, with his profound understanding of the human psyche, bequeathed to us the concept of the shadow. Not just the dark side, but everything we repress, refuse to look at, integrate, or dare to manifest. Every shelved dream, every maybe later, that becomes an eternal lament, every truth we stifle in the name of illusory comfort or paralyzing fear, is a piece of our essence that is silently stolen. It is the inner melody that never echoes, the potential that withers before blooming, the authentic life that remains a mere draft. Perhaps the pain or emptiness you feel today is not a punishment, but the desperate cry of a soul that feels robbed of itself, that longs to be complete. Society, with its invisible pressures, often convinces us to be diluted versions of who we truly are, and certain facets of performative spirituality delude us with empty shortcuts that divert us from inner work. But the true expansion of consciousness, genuine transformation, emerges precisely when we dare to recognize and embrace the fertile void that omission has created. What if this feeling of loss is, in fact, the portal to the fuller life you've always sought? This is an urgent call to rescue what has been abandoned, to honor the totality of your being. Remember, you don't need to chase the light. Ancestral wisdom teaches us that true freedom arises when we become the lit lamp in the darkness of ignorance. This omission, this debt to our own essence, leads us to an even deeper reflection on how we are managing our existence. After all, life is not merely a business, and its profits cannot be measured only in material terms. We have been conditioned to operate our existence under the logic of a company: investments, returns, profits, and losses. But what about when the balance sheet of this life business becomes deeply deficient for the soul? When the apparent profits, financial security, social status, external validation, a packed schedule of commitments, cannot cover the invisible costs of your inner well-being. The ancestral wisdom of Stoic philosophy, echoed by masters like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, calls us to a radical re-evaluation. What is truly worthwhile? Are we trading imperturbable peace, restorative silence, and genuine connection with our purpose for an accumulation of experiences that leave us exhausted and empty? Frequently, the facade of productivity hides a deep emotional and spiritual debt. Your subconscious mind, an impeccable archive, records every renunciation of your deepest truth, every moment of inattention to your own voice. Emotional healing is not an escape from pain, but the courageous act of accepting what hurts, of looking directly at the balance of this company that is your existence. When material profits do not nourish the soul, the body sickens, the mind becomes clouded with anxiety, and the spirit cries out for a change of course. It's not about what happens outside, but what vibrates within. This is the crucial moment to re-evaluate your true purpose, to recalibrate your inner compass towards your genuine wealth. What are you acquiring with your life? And what is the real price you are paying in terms of peace, authenticity, and fullness? And it is precisely by recognizing this deficit in the soul that we open the door to the solution. If time has been stolen by inattention, the answer lies in one of the greatest powers we possess: presence. Time, in its essence, cannot be stored or recovered like a physical object. However, it can be reclaimed, and the key to this lies in the depth of our presence. The meditative practice, inner listening, and the art of cultivating conscious silence are the ancient tools that allow us to reverse the subtle theft of inattention. Alan Watts, with his transformative perspective on non-duality, invites us to dissolve the boundaries between the observer and the observed. When we inhabit the now with totality, whether in a walk immersed in nature, a breath that expands the chest, or a moment of pure contemplation, time, paradoxically, expands. It ceases to be a relentless race and transforms into an ally, a vast field for experience. The true reconnection with the self, genuine spiritual awakening, does not require spectacular feats, but rather a consistent series of micro-transformations. Every conscious pause, every breath of mindfulness, is a direct investment in your own living soul. The universe doesn't push you into the abyss. It teaches you to swim. Conscious deceleration is not about doing less or being less productive. It's about living more intensely. It is the deliberate choice to tune into a natural rhythm, to inhabit the sacred temple that resides in the silence of your chest, and thus reclaim what seemed irremediably lost. Remember, the void is not absence. It is the fertile womb from which everything can be born and where truth is revealed. Understanding the power of presence is crucial, as it connects us to an even greater truth about time, not as a finite prison, but as a portal to the limitless, as an ancient fable reveals to us. Imagine an ancient hourglass, where each tiny grain of sand represents not just a passing instant, but an opportunity for existence. The fable of the flowing sand, a timeless and universally recognized metaphor, confronts us with the inevitable impermanence of life, a fundamental pillar of Buddhist teachings. Our existence is finite, yes, but it is precisely this finitude that gives it an incalculable value, an ephemeral and precious beauty. Time, far from being an enemy that consumes us, reveals itself as the most sacred of bonds, the bridge between our limited self and the vastness of the eternal. The great Sufi poet Rumi, with his mystical wisdom, speaks of union with the divine through the deep longing that resides within us. It is in this longing for meaning, for a spiritual truth that transcends the palpable, that the linearity of time dissolves, and every second transforms into a door for the expansion of consciousness. The pain you experience is not a burden. It is a seed planted in the darkness, awaiting silence and acceptance to germinate into wisdom and blossom into a new perspective. Not all pain is a punishment. Some pains, the deepest ones, are merciless masters that propel us towards transformation. The vibrant awareness of the flowing sand calls us to a life lived with ardent purpose, to honor every breath as a miracle, to cultivate spontaneous gratitude for pure existence. The universe, in its infinite intelligence, does not give us answers. It listens to us when, finally, we learn to listen to ourselves. The greatest gift we can give ourselves, on this journey of self-knowledge and awakening consciousness, is not accumulation, but full integration with the flow of life, the radiant fullness of the now. The life manifesting within you is a sacred gift. It's a constant invitation to presence, to truth, to detaching from what steals your peace. Don't let the invisible receipt of time accumulate without you realizing the true cost. Omission, the state of not being, is the greatest of thefts. But healing and expansion are possible. Every moment is an opportunity to rewrite your inner reality. Remember, you are not broken. You are in transformation. With each conscious breath, with each moment of silence, you reclaim a piece of yourself. And what if the pain you feel today is the portal to the life you always sought? Symbolic practice. I invite you now to a practice of inner retrieval. Find a place where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes, not to escape, but to dive deep. Bring to mind the image of a serene light source, pulsing in the center of your chest. With each inhale, visualize this light expanding, not with air, but with the pure essence of presence, dissolving any lingering traces of inattention or loss. With each exhale, feel that you are not just releasing air, but releasing the shackles of time, expectations, regrets, the fragments of yourself that have scattered. Allow this inner light, which is your own consciousness, to reclaim and realign every minute, every energy, every piece of yourself that felt stolen. Feel the wholeness of this temple in your chest, a sanctuary of spiritual clarity and unshakable strength. And from the depths of this sacred space, silently affirm, I am the now. I am what I am. I am full life in manifestation. If something within you has calmed or awakened upon hearing these words, allow yourself to continue. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to walk with us along this road of fertile silence, discoveries, and reconnection. Leave your experience in the comments. Your sharing is also a seed of healing for other hearts. And to continue expanding this field of presence, we suggest the video pinned on the card. May it be a gentle breath on your journey. Peace and light.